So to start at the very beginning, where did the idea come from?
Well, my writing partner, Seth Goldsmith, and I were looking for small movie ideas. We had been writing for a few years, just scripts that never really got made, and we were trying to sell them. And we decided we wanted to make something on our own, so we started from a very small seed of an idea of something that could stay contained.
What was the seed?
The idea that one character takes a bottle of sleeping pills and another character has to keep him awake all night. And so we figured that why couldn't that be a whole movie to itself?
What was the tone of it when you first came up with it?
We talked about tone a lot from the very beginning, just because it is sort of it's a tricky tone of that. It's comedy drama. It's very serious. I mean, there's a suicide attempt within like 5 minutes at the beginning of the movie, but it's also really funny right from the start too. I think, or I hope. I don't know.
I like that it lives in all of the areas of different tones. Like it can be many things, and it's interesting. Like when you become an actor, they're like, "What do you do, comedy or drama?" They always ask you to pick one. And what I liked about this movie is that it just is. It is what it is when it is, and it's when it's dark, it's super serious, or it's dark and it's super funny. Like when you make me throw up. Or it's like just a light when we're having that date outside. Like it's just like a light, romantic, exchange, and it seamlessly like flows through all of these different tones, and that's what I really liked about
I agree.
how you did the film.
It seemed like the movie.
It
It seemed like the movie was able to straddle this line of comedy and drama really well, and you don't get a lot of scripts like that. So I think we all sparked to it.
It's nice to see the comedy and the drama exist throughout the film, and not just be like funny stuff here, serious stuff here, and moving.
Yeah, that was the goal. That was the goal, to not have like any jokey parts, but to have each like bit of tension kind of.
I mean, you've had a fight with a boyfriend or girlfriend. I don't know who you choose, but you've had a fight with a loved one.
Not really.
I'm really PC. Hi, I'm Rosa
We don't need to
Salazar.
get into that.
I'm here for all of the gay people. I don't have the straight people.
Okay, great.
But you've had a fight with.
I've had my fair amount of fights.
Right, and I know there's been a moment where you're in a really super serious state with someone and you stub your toe or something happens and you try to like play it off and then like walk away, like kind of like hobbling away, and that's real life. It's not just like we're having a fight and then like later on is like this resolution of the levity.
Yeah.
It all exists at once, just like in real life.
This is gonna be real actory. Listen.
He's such a dick.
But at the actor studio we used to have to. That's where I went. I don't know if I dropped that. If I dropped where I went to acting school with the actor studio.
Right.
Anyway,
Very impressive.
at the actor studio, we used to do this thing where they would divide the room into like 4 emotions, and you couldn't speak, but you had to feel the emotion of like happiness, and then that you would have to be as happy as you could be, and then that would inevitably, you can only go so far before it translates into another emotion. And when I read this script the first time, it really had that vibe of like you build something and you build it and you build it and you build it and you build it, and the air would get let out, and then the emotions for both characters would change, and you'd have to address that. And especially with the way they shot it, with moving the camera around, it didn't feel like one standstill movie like that. It felt really cinematic, and like really kind of, I always said Finchery.
Yeah, the scene in particular that I'm remembering is, we're on the couch, it's after I do my starfish thing, and I'm like, he calls Peter, and I'm like, I need a cigarette. And so I go from the couch to the counter, and then there's that long exchange at the counter, and it feels really just like in the house, we're just sort of like floating around from room to room, and like, it's so seamless. Like, you really shot the hell out of that house. And it makes it feel like
Big.
It makes it feel big, and it makes it feel like we're just sort of like floating around in this world. Like that's house is our world. I like to say that the house is the 5th character of the movie. By the way, I went to HB Studios in Greenwich Village. It's not like one of these like highfalutin acting
Like
factories.
the actor studio, where
Factories,
some of our
basically.
alumni are.
You know, it's really the difference
Bradley
between
Cooper,
IKEA and,
Hill,
let's say, design
Al
within
Pacino,
reach,
Stella
or even
Adler,
vintage,
So
like
bad
Danish
video.
modern. It's like you can have a piece that's actually like unique.
I mean,
It doesn't
that's
cost
where
like
I
as
also,
much
when I was
money.
19, I started the Upright
Instead of this
Citizens
like
Brigade.
particle board crap
So I
that will
learned to
break in
improvise
like a
at a
week.
young
I don't even know if I want to stop it.
Well, Udo Hagen started the
Udo, come
HB
on.
Studios with Herbert Berghoff in 1940. I imagine you doing that on her face. It's on the cover of the book.
Oh, I've jerked off on a
God.
Udo Hagen's face like 4 times.
That's so funny because I jerked off to James Lipton. His name's James Lipton.
Yeah.
At one point, when I go home and I have to edit this and post it, I have to write like bullet points of what you guys say at certain times. And like, I don't even know what I'm going to say about this little section here.
Good.
But I'm
We
going to have
just
fun
ruined
coming
our
up with
favorite
something.
person.
Yeah,
and
the person that gave us the best interview we've insulted from tip to taint.
This is why I record video, more fun.
It's funny. Some might say from ship to shore, but you just went straight from tip to taint.
Well, I think we've torn you up.
Torn you up.
I don't even know how to transition to a serious topic right now.
No,
but
No, go for it. Just,
What
just
is she
how'd you find the house?
What's that?
How'd you find the house?
Airbnb. I'm not
Really?
kidding. No,
Yeah,
we
we
found
Airbnb the house.
What was
We-
your
I mean, we looked at other
conversation like
places,
with that
but
owner?
The best house that we found was on Airbnb, and that's how we did it.
And the
We'll never
homeowner
get
was
our
totally
deposit
cool with
back.
it?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, they knew we were shooting a film, and we didn't end up, I don't think, going through Airbnb directly anymore. But that's how we found the house, and it was perfect. And so.
Did they know what shooting a movie entailed, or did you show up with
Yeah.
like trucks and stuff and they freaked
I
out?
think they'd had a commercial there before and some other stuff, so they understood completely. And they were set up as an Airbnb, so their furniture was very temporary. They could just remove everything. So our production designer brought everything in, and so
It does make you think, though, that just how many porns are shot in Airbnb houses and what goes on in an Airbnb house. I mean,
I shot a porn at an Airbnb house, and like
I Airbnb'd a share of an apartment in the Netherlands, and it was just a weird kind of orgy going on there when I walked in.
I stayed in an Airbnb house like a year ago now for a month, and now I feel like I need to go home and shower.
Oh yeah, you definitely.
did you like recognize it in? You're not telling us something. You saw your place in a porn, and you're like, I know that couch. Oh,
I almost
my
wish that
God.
was true. Not true at all.
Yeah.
How do you light a house like that? Because like you mentioned the mobile camera and transitioning and stuff, so lighting above?
it was it was tough. Our cinematographer wanted higher ceilings because there wasn't much room, but we were doing mostly like gem balls, kind of the like China ball look for it, and it was sort of playing with contrast, and it was nice. It was fun.
I think I remember one time where our sound guy Kevin was holding the boom and a china ball
Yeah.
at the same time, and I was like, this is low buzz.
So I imagine you have a really small crew here.
Yeah, really.
I did wardrobe
Well,
for a little bit.
It was
That's
it was the right
It comes
size
to feel
crew for
natural
what-
though,
Yeah.
and comfortable.
Yeah.
It
It
wouldn't have
needed
made
to be
sense
that
to be any
intimate.
bigger. Yeah,
Yeah.
it would not have made any sense.
But I think it was a real testament to the lighting and the cinematographer Adrian, because they lit it in a way that we never waited. It wasn't like one of those movies where you'll do a take and then they'll say, okay, we're turning around, and you'll go wait. Even though we only had one camera, we were on the move. Like scenes were getting done, and we were
We pounded it out.
Yeah, we were consistently moving the camera, which is a lot in a small movie. So it was.
And for bigger setups or switching scenes, we just went upstairs to Adam's childhood boy room and watched Ride Along.
Yeah.
And then they would call us down and we'd pause it.
Yeah, we pause it, we come back and do a bunch of ride-along dialogue to get warmed up.
Yeah. So really most of our influence
So Ride
comes
Along
from
influenced this movie.
Oh, there's like a whole set, like, other cut of this movie where she's Kevin Hart and I'm Ice-T.
Yeah.
I hope that's on like a DVD.
That's the biggest compliment you've
Yeah, and I'm just constantly like,
Yeah. Put your seatbelt on. Remember that one?
Yeah.
There's a scene where she
You totally do a lot of impressions, don't you? The second you brought the Jack Nicholson one up in the
Oh,
movie,
yeah.
I kind of wanted to
Here's
hear
the
it.
funny thing is that I'm terrible at impressions, but the only impression I can do well is Adam. And Adam does a killer Mark Wahlberg.
I kind of want to hear it.
So Mark, how do you feel about your show Wahlburgers is really taken off on A&E? Like, how do you feel?
I love it, it's a passion project.
And who is your favorite Wahlberg brother?
Well, I love Johnny the most because she had a similar career as mine, but I do love Fatty.
Wow.
And your dad, what's his name again?
My dad, we don't talk anymore.
Oh, but is he on Wahlburgers?
He's on Wahlbergers when I let him. He lives with me. He's got a drinking problem. Not alcohol, it's Robitussin.
So now I want to see your version of Ride Along, and I want to see a movie where you play Mark Wahlberg, and then I'll be satisfied.
You're the only one.
That's all you need. I already did review your soul.
Oh, I'd really thank you so much for that.
No, my pleasure. You guys deserved it. Now I want to talk about the physical comedy here because it just made me nauseous seeing someone stick their fingers down your throat. Does that really happen?
Yeah.
Oh, to me?
Yeah, can that? I mean, even for insurance purposes, is that allowed to happen?
We
We
couldn't
did
afford
this
to get
movie
CGI fingers for it.
Yeah.
So
The funny thing is that Adam didn't want to do. I mean, he was down to do whatever, but he felt. I mean, he's so supportive and wants me to be okay all the time. And so he was like, "Is this okay?" He's sticking his finger in my mouth, and I'm supposed to just immediately throw up, but I just let him do it for a beat longer, and that's the take you use because I have this juice in my throat, and I'm just sort of like. And he's sticking his finger, he's like, "What's happening?" And then I see on his face, he's like, I'm not doing it. And then I spit all over his hand.
Yeah.
And
it
his
was,
face.
it made me, I vomit, I'm not great. I'm not great with vomit. My kid vomited the other day, and normally when a parent would be like, "Oh my God, let's go," I was like, "Ew!" I backed up, was like,
No, I feel you. I can't handle when my cat vomits.
I can't do vomit. So when that happened on that take, I was really gagging and almost vomiting. But I'm a method actor. In the method.
At HB Studios, we were taught to actually throw
at the new
up.
school in the actor studio.
Oh wow,
they
then you just
teach you.
two things now.
They teach you that method can be anybody's method. It doesn't have to be one person's method.
Wow, that sounds really vague.
I'm learning so much about
When
acting
Bradley
now.
Cooper came and talked to me.
That's funny because when Pacino was going to HB Studios.
Well, I mean, one could argue now.
How about the
Documented.
treadmill thing? Are you falling off the treadmill?
Yes,
Yes.
that is my
For real?
treadmill that I still have. It's for sale. Well, you can tell the story about how you have footage.
I do have footage. I have 2 videos on my phone that I watch a lot of Rosa practicing her pratfalls, trying to get it right. It's a kind of cute private moment where she doesn't think anyone's around. And so she's working on it. She presses the treadmill, and you see her walking, and then she's like, oh, and then she's like, no, that's not right. And then she goes back and does it again. It's really kind of adorable, but also painful. Because on the last one, she's like, ow! Oh, that's right. That's the right one. That's the right one.
I accidentally smashed. I rolled off, and I was thinking on the roll off. I was like, okay, that was good, and I fell off for real and smacked my head on the thing, and I was like, oh.
Gives it all for her art.
That's the magic.
Gives it all
Right
for
there.
her art.
The physical comedy is the stuff that I had the most fun doing for myself, and then for what was most pleasing for me to watch Adam do was the narrative stuff. Wow, Seth. Totally threw me off. Anyway, but it was so special to watch Adam do really serious narrative stuff and be so incredible at it because most people, think Adam Pally, they're like, oh, that guy is a hoot.
An owl hoot.
An owl hoot. That guy is hilarious. I've seen all of this stuff he's done, but I want people to see. Don't self-deprecate. I want people to see Adam do some of this stuff he learned at the actor studio, because it's phenomenal and it was an absolute pleasure to watch.
That was really nice.
That was really sweet.
Before I get kicked out, I must ask about an upcoming project, and I think you know what I'm going to go for. I want to talk about Maze Runner.
Insurgent. Okay. Oh, which one?
I'm the only downside about being at South by is that I can't see Insurgent now until it comes out, and I do really want
bummer.
to. Well,
Yeah, we know.
hey, I do really want to see it.
Rosa's career is flourishing.
Maze Runner was phenomenal experience. A lot of stuff I learned at HB came into play. That's so interesting that you brought that up. It comes out in September. Insurgent comes out on the 20th, and then Maze Runner comes out in September, and then I start filming the third of both of those this year.
That's quite the
Right?
schedule.
My
Yeah.
manager's over there.
Are you able to speak to how your character's relationship with Thomas and Teresa changes? Because Teresa and Thomas's relationship was not the same in the movie as it was the book, so I
Right.
imagine that must trickle into this new one. So do we have changes as well?
Yes. Okay. So there is, it's not so much love triangle-y, but it kind of is. Like you could describe it that way. But I almost said Adam. Dylan and Adam, by the way, if I ever got into a room with both of them, I think I might die of laughing too hard, because you two are the funniest two people in my life.
I'm gonna kill that guy.
He's a lot younger than you, but you guys are so.
Consider that dude dead.
Like
I would watch that movie.
after
too.
working with Adam on Night Owls, I was like, I left that experience, and honest to God, I was like, I'll never have another experience like that ever again. And so when I met Dylan before I did Maze Runner 2, I was like, oh, thank God, like there are more people out there that get me and I get them and that have the same brand of like sort of like pushing and comedy and stuff. So that was the most fun. But the Teresa thing is like, Kaya Scodelario is like really smart, and we got together with Wes, the director of that, and we're just like, we don't want this to be some like cheesy ass love triangle. It can be more subtle than that. Like everything is described in what he chooses to do, and that's like the whole point of Maze Runner. And so when he chooses to come after me instead of go down the shaft with her, it's already there. Like he doesn't need to say, I'm leaving Teresa behind. It's more like he chose, and then that's where all of the feelings will come from.